penny for each stream.
Yeah.
Hey, run it up.
That would definitely change the game, and it would piss a lot of people, piss a lot of higher ups off.
I think that's the thing too. It's like from the music streaming idea. Like I would be okay if it was just reasonable. The problem is that it's just not reasonable right now.
It doesn't work.
It's just not reasonable. So it's like. And I understand they have to deal with bots and I understand they have to deal with all this other stuff. But the reason why these things even exist in the first place is because you don't pay right.
The reason why they exist is because there's artists.
But no, there's a clip of Rashida Tlaib that's representative from Detroit, 12th District. And she was talking about trying to change the laws, to pass a law that would actually get artists paid more per stream, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to play the video and listen, but we talked about Spotify. We talked about them multiple times as they've gone through certain changes. And the last one I believe we discussed was the 1,000 stream requirement to get paid. I believe was one of the ones we did
for Spotify.
Yeah, for Spotify,
the ones where they were using actual bots.
Yeah, we talked about that as well.
And since then, I've literally removed all my music from Spotify. So
yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah,
screw them. But
yeah, let's run that clip, Lone, and then we can review and discuss.
All right.
Mr. Speaker, I'm from Motown, where our music has changed the world in so many incredible ways forever. But artists in my district and across our country are struggling to make ends meet in an industry where the money just keeps going to executives and shareholders. It would take more than 800,000 streams per month to make equivalent of $15 an hour. In the vast majority of our artists are on platforms like Apple Music, Spotify. And one of the things that even for them, they never ever get to 800,000 streams in a year. This is a big deal. Streaming now represents 84% of recorded music industry's revenue in the United States. But most of the artists who bring joy to our lives and culture aren't seeing any of it. The Living Wage for Musicians Act, which I introduced for Representative Bowman, would change that by creating a new fund that aims to pay artists at least 1 penny per stream. The bill will completely reform the music industry, supporting much more diverse set of artists, enabling more recording and touring, and sending a ripple effect throughout local economies by supporting professionals throughout the music industry. I truly encourage my colleagues to learn more about this, co-sponsor the bill, and help change artists' lives forever.
You support a penny per stream? Do you know how great that would be?
I mean, like,
people hear that they're like, a penny per stream.
They have no idea where I'm like, man, start doing the math.
Yeah,
start mathing.
Yeah, like this is literally kind of what I was just talking about on the previous topic. So yeah, I'm definitely with something like this. I would be surprised.
That's what I was about to ask you.
If it got support from any of the non-progressive representatives, because again, we don't value art. Right. People are probably sitting there just kind of like, that's what all those old people are doing that are defecating in their pants. So it's just like
poop.
Oh, defecating. I like defecating.
I'm just saying, like it. I mean, we're talking about a Congress who like.
Do you really?
Don't. I was hoping that passed him.
Was that interjection really necessary?
Really hoping that passed him. I didn't want anybody to say
Christ.
I didn't want anybody to think about that. I didn't. I wanted it to get. I know you did. Jay Moore didn't even catch it until he said something. So I was hoping that mug got passed. But go ahead.
That ad lib was very unnecessary, sir.
I'm usually pretty good with my ad libs, but that one was bad. It was bad. Sorry, y'all. I don't like defecating.
Wow.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Thanks for telling us what you were talking about, but
go ahead, man.
I actually never mind.
So you made him mess up.
I tried to throw it back to him, so he didn't. So I apologize.
But you know who you throwing it back to, bro. You know he gonna laugh.
I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying.
It was about how you talked about the last topic and how it ties in.
But did anybody watch the hearings when they had the TikTok guy on?
Yeah.
And he's from Singapore.
Yeah.
And the old guy, it was just like, well, are you from China, communist?
Oh my!
Are you from the communist China? He's like, no, I'm from Singapore. So, are you a part of the communist China party? It was just like these people are brain dead. Yeah. And it's just like I don't expect any of these people to
bunch of Mitches.
I see you.
Sure.
I see you.
Literally.
I see you.
It's so I don't expect. We need more progressive change within our Congress, within our representatives, and we just don't have it. There's no representatives. There's not a significant amount of representation in our government that can ever really constitute real serious change. Even the Democrats,
they're just as
they're
old.
the same. But even beyond being
Just as old,
they're not progressive. They're all capitalists anyways. Like everybody in there is a capitalist. So it's like we don't.
It's even worse than being capitalist.
But I'm
they're
saying
just
that's
so
the root
lost.
of it. But I'm saying, that's the other argument. What I'm saying is we don't have any type of representation that wants to challenge the status quo at all. And so like this is great that Rashida does this. She also catches a lot of slack for anything that she breaks up.
I don't care what it is.
Like, you know, like even the people that are defending, like most of our government is on board with the Israel and the Palestine situation.
When you just say ceasefire, there are people who are like, that's so controversial.
Oh my God. It's like, okay, yeah. People is anyways.
Okay.
But she's always on the right.
Demonetize.
But she's always on the right side. She's always on the right side. And you know, like
no, I rock with her. I do.
We need more people like her and more representatives like her. So
nobody believes people like that, and we've seen that happen with Bernie. And the people that actually literally call out and tell the truth, and people always be like, well, I mean, they're making a point, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen because you won't support it.
I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know if we really want to.
Because people always say, well, that's not realistic. It's the same thing. And once again, let's demonetize.
Who cares?
You know, it's just like when people talk about reparations, like, where are we going to get the money for that? But then I see we got money for so many other things.
I got money.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, when I see all the money we send to Ukraine and then to Israel and then everywhere else.
I'm talking about they got broke off.
But then they're like, I don't know, this seems like that's a lot of money.
Yeah. It's because we don't value anything of that we need to value.
That's the bar alone.
We only value money. We only value what is money and what is going to generate more.
That because
we do.
We do, but we don't.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're promissory notes at the end of the day.
I mean,
okay,
we're
still value.
We can talk about that.
Yeah,
we're an oligarchy. Or what's the one? Plutocracy.
Hey, we using big words, SIT words. Somebody's gonna get it confused.
Yeah, but you know,
but no,
shout out to Nixon.
Yeah, it's just it really is a thing to where, like I've made this point before. We have enough money to solve the problems that we need to solve.
Facts.
But if we solved them, what would people argue about? What would the people we send to Washington argue about?
It's almost like
they'll pick out something because you know what's weird, and I literally seen this today. I guess it does kind of have something to do with this because we're talking about Miss Rashida and her going there and trying to get money for artists, and this does go back to the previous conversation we just had. It kind of coincides with it. But anytime somebody says something about weather and how it's changing, people politicize it. What is that about here? Yeah,
I think it's interesting because I think most places in the world are super politicized. I just,
as far as weather though, like somebody can literally post a picture that says, this year it was sunny on this particular day.
I see what you're saying.
This year now it's not. And it's just an observation.
Right.
And somebody chooses to politicize it.
Yeah. He's right.
I think it's just people like to read into the subtleties a lot of times. And there is typically a political angle on most things realistically.
But everything has been politicized now, even sports talk shows. Somehow there's going to be a topic about, or something's going to be covered and you're going to have race is going to be brought into it somehow, or something is going to lean towards the direction of politics.
This is going to be politicized. This is going to be considered a very left socialist point of view, and they're going to deny it based off of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because of who introduced it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a big part of it. Yeah. The fact that she's the one that's putting this on the table.
Yeah.
That right there, for where she in that room, that takes the credibility right out the window. They like, nah, we ain't rocking with her. She's too much like right.
Yeah, I think because we have so much inequity in general, people have been more outspoken in recent years of pointing said stuff out. With the government's trying to get rid of TikTok again, and all that stuff, which is say what you want about TikTok, but it is educating a whole lot of people about a whole lot of things.
Tell me, if your algorithm is set up right, you're gonna see the right stuff.
You are.
Yeah, you are.
And you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I think that's part of it too, because a lot of people are becoming educated, and a lot more people are. Our country is, even though I think we're a long ways away of becoming a little bit more moderate, you know, from where we're at, I think people are waking up to the fact that we are not moderate, that we are very right wing. And because of that, you know, we're seeing the inequities that we're seeing in real time across the board all over the place. And it's very easy to spot when you're aware of these things. I'm not going to use woke because the conservative people have stole that and made it mean something else. Although I still say it because it's what it is. But it's, you know, like being more aware of and being able to highlight it and being able to have conversational points. Like, I feel like we're in a place now because of the information. Like, we can have regular conversations about this stuff with more people now than maybe we could 10 years ago because the information is a lot more easily accessible. So I hope that people are waking up to that idea. And I know that you mentioned that from an angle of everybody's talking about politics and it's annoying, and I get it. But I feel like it's kind of a good thing to a degree that we actually have some people that are actually can legitimately bring up legitimate points to people.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
Some stuff is stupid though. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, like, but you know,
it makes a lot of sense. But the problem is, it's always like you said, the face of whoever says this. So even though she is essentially a politician, pretty much going to bat for the common citizen that's an artist,
right?
That we were just having a discussion about. She's trying to get artists paid. We just had a whole conversation about the bootleg era and how that changed everything. And going into this streaming era, people are not making what they're supposed to make off of music unless they are of a certain stature.
Right.
Where those streams don't really play into the how much they make, because they're able to tour and their merch sales and everything they do pretty much makes sense to their fans. Right. Whereas you have other people that are considered the artists that that not necessarily is underground, but like you were saying earlier, they can't make a living off of their music in order to, you know what I'm saying, keep on producing this art. Right. So with her coming up with this proposition for 1 cent, even though it sounds like a little bit, making a penny off every stream is actually a whole lot.
Well, that's a lot.
That's a lot, because people were making pennies on the dollar on selling a whole CD.
Yeah. True.
So it's kind of balancing the game as far as that's concerned. Being able to readily stream these songs and somebody's getting paid a penny off each time they stream it. And that's substantial.
And different platforms are different. Look, I've got over 50 million streams on TikTok. I have not been paid reasonable compensation for 50 million streams.
Facts.
On TikTok.
Facts.
And that would be awesome. But we, again, for looking at the creator beta program that we just got in with TikTok, they're paying us really good RPMs.
Right.
So like we have two videos that have 14,000 views, and we've made over $16 from just 2 videos. So it's like, it's
Put
broken.
it in context as far as how long that's been out, though.
It's broken. I'm guessing
those two videos,
what I'm alluding to is that like the system is broken in multiple ways, and I understand that it's complicated, but their models aren't set up to where that. I don't know, man. I feel like we talk.
What's
about
crazy
so much.
about that too is, and we've discussed this, is they talk about how they don't make any money.
When you say they, you're speaking
these
like
streaming
Spotify.
platforms.
Oh, okay.
If you're not making any money, then how are you able to do this for so long?
How are you able to pay Joe Rogan $100 million?
It doesn't make any sense.
They're in partnership with the record labels.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the thing that's nastiest about it. So you are in partnership with the record labels, and then they set the rate? Come on.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
And now,
because anybody that's never made money, there's no way that you would be able to still be in business this long.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and it goes down to sometimes you can write off your losses and stuff like that.
That's
too.
a big part of it.
You know, it's like, okay, oh well, yeah, we didn't make this much money, but even though you generated X billion dollars,
you talk about your operating revenue.
And that's what I was going to say, but Terry already covered it. I don't want to hear the bullshit about we don't have the money for it. That's bullshit.
Yeah, because the people that run it aren't poor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
if they don't have to be poor for being a part of it, then the artists who actually provide the value to your platform, where your platform wouldn't even exist without it, maybe they shouldn't be poor too.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Shout out to Ms. Tlaib. It's probably the dark room that Lone was talking about with Caleb Williams in terms of the approval. Yeah. But shout out to her for at least bringing the conversation. Just approaching the conversation and putting it out there, because
if you stream in any way, shape, or form, whether you're an artist, a comedian, where your comedy gets streamed, if you're a podcaster, this is something you should be taking and paying attention to.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I'm glad Jeff shared it too, because I wouldn't have even seen this had he not shared it. So
I saw it. Did DJ Plattern shared it? So shouts to him. He used to be, I think, Pink's DJ.
Yeah, nice. Fox sent it to me.
Plattern played it. Take That Tuesday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
I met him when he was here.
Yep.
Yeah, Fox sent it to me. I was like, that's high key. Very valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 1 penny for each stream.
Yeah.
Hey, run it up.
That would definitely change the game, and it would piss a lot of people, piss a lot of higher ups off.
I think that's the thing too. It's like, from the music streaming idea, like, I would be okay if it was just reasonable. The problem is that it's just not reasonable right now.
It doesn't work.
It's just not reasonable. So it's like, and I understand they have to deal with bots, and I understand they have to deal with all this other stuff. But the reason why these things even exist in the first place is because you don't pay right.
The reason why they exist is because there's artists. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much the whole sum up the whole night is about artists.
Yeah.
So these platforms would not exist if there weren't for artists.
Mm-hmm.
These said platforms have evolved into what they are and are running the music game, and the artists, the ones that they are pretty much pimping out, aren't making any money off of it.
Yeah.
And it just needs to be corrected.
There is no any of this without the artists.
Yeah.
None of this stuff exists without the artists.
It just means that the platforms need to adjust their advertising royalty or rates that they charge advertisers to be on their platform, or maybe they need to adjust the streaming costs. I mean, Spotify's what, like $11 a year or a month or something?
Give or take like $10 a time.
Maybe it needs to be 20. Maybe, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry. Like, maybe it does, or you need more ads.
Yeah, but when I think about the fact that I used to drop $20 easily
every week.
Yep, for one CD,
and I get it for 20. It's not out of the range of reality.
No,
and for me to pay $11 and $12 to listen to every record that has ever been available in the history of music,
man.
Bro,
is really a bargain.
Yeah, it's not a hard decision to make at all. Even at $20,
bro,
that's me buying a CD every other week for a month.
Yep.
I mean, there were some weeks where I was buying 2 CDs.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the Best Buy sale is $9.99 that first week, I can cop 2 of them for $20.
Look, I'm okay with Spotify introducing ads in the middle of a song.
I'll probably buy that. I'll probably upgrade and buy that extra.
Exactly.
Just so I don't have to hear that.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
But all of that should benefit the artists.
Look,
for sure.
You know what? We talked about this a few weeks ago when the whole Amazon thing. If you want to go ad free on their original content for $2.99, but you know what I did? I went and I said, okay, which one of these Amazon channels, do I really want to keep playing for Paramount Plus? But this is the thing: when you unsubscribe, this is some game. When you go to unsubscribe, they'll be like, hey, we'd love to keep you for...
They're going to offer you something.
Yeah, they're going to offer you something. You can do 99 cents for the next 3 months. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, that $2.99 doesn't really seem that... because for my time...
Yeah, right.
The $2.99 is not that big of a deal based on the amount of time it would save me not having to look at somebody's commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take the $2.99 and buy back my time.
Yep.
There you go.
And so that's what it is really when we talk about these streaming services. I'll pay for Tidal, which is the one I have now, because I don't want to have to every 3 or 4 songs have to hear a commercial. That's time out of my day listening to something that I just don't care about.
Yep.
So,
and I don't use any of those streaming platforms. If I have to listen to a commercial, I'm not using it. Look, even if I pay for it, so that I'm not pay, I use YouTube Music and Tidal, and that's it.
Yeah, just like when I got 3 months of YouTube Premium, and then I realized I don't ever want to sit and watch a YouTube commercial again for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
that $13 a month, it's worth it.
Man, it's worth it. Especially you can share it with 4 or 5 people.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as watching, I haven't watched it. I remember I went home
It's gone,
to
man.
see. Yeah, I was because this is the thing for my dad. This is a funny story. For my dad to have like basically every channel available, and when I get up and we sat and watched had breakfast one morning, and the thing he was watching was police body cam video. Some people shoplifted on YouTube.
Hey, it's his world.
That's his world.
And the thing is,
That's
I was
his
like,
world.
damn. And then it'd be a position in the middle where I was like, it would be a commercial, and the commercial would be like 12 minutes long. I was like, you got to get YouTube Premium. This is not going to get it.
Yeah,
I can't do this.
Cool. It ain't cool at all.
But
you need to go ahead and share him one of your profiles.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I haven't watched a commercial on YouTube. Even when I'm watching our content, I was like, I don't want it busted up and have somebody trying to sell me some plumbing supplies or whatever.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Once you cross over, it's kind of like people that drive Teslas.
Yeah,
they say once you come over into this Tesla life, you ain't gonna want to drive a regular car.
The interesting thing about the ads stuff, though, is like if everybody bought the service, bought like the premium, the model wouldn't work.
Right.
Because it's important for the ads to be played.
That is true.
Generates revenue.
But for me, it just irritates my soul.
No, that's fine. That's why I'm saying like realistically putting ads in the middle of songs probably wouldn't work because more people would buy it and then it would mess up the whole idea.
Pay to play.
Look, I remember when I got a car that had a heated steering wheel, and I was like, I thought that was the most unnecessary option ever. But now that I understand what it is to have a heating steering wheel in the middle of the winter, I'm never buying another car that does not have a heating steering wheel.